Alright, so we're going to be doing a tutorial of the mechanics of Factorio. So grab something cold to drink and sit back and relax as I try to explain a game that doesn't really explain all of its mechanics very well. I'm still learning a lot of stuff about it, and I've been playing for almost, 400 hours or something? So, this is version 16. Remember, Factorio is a game that's still in development, and this is, I think, if you were to buy a Factorio today without tweaking any of the settings or anything, this is the version that you're going to get, the one that I'm doing this on, which is version 0.16.51. So most people are probably playing that. They do have a version 0.17, which has a lot of new UI features and quality of life changes. So I think they're close to actually a full 1.0 release, but I don't know when that's going to be exactly. But anyways, so I'm going to be doing it under the assumption that most people are playing under version 16 right now. So we're going to go ahead and hit play. And we're going to do a new game. And I'm going to choose rich resources, because I think that helps out, at least when you're starting to learn how to play, for the default. And then I'm going to choose peaceful mode, which is, I don't want enemies attacking me, right? Unless I attack them. Enemies will harass you endlessly. And it is fun once you understand the game and know what you're doing, but they can be very frustrating if you're learning a game. So, and then the resource settings, I'm going to leave for the most part. So starting your game, and these don't really mean what you think it means. Like, you think frequency means more, the size is the patch, and how rich the patch is. But there's some other background stuff going on when it calculates where these are all going to generate, so it's kind of confusing. But all I'm going to do is I'm going to make iron ore very big, because you use a lot of iron. Copper, I'm going to leave medium, because you don't use copper as much as iron. Stone, I'm going to leave as medium as well. Again, stone isn't something that you... Actually, you know what? I'll make it big, because if you want, a lot of concrete, you may want that. Coal, very big, because you go through a lot of coal. Uranium, I'm going to make it very big. I don't really play with uranium, because I think it's overly complex for it to generate power versus solar or coal, so I don't really play with it, but I'll make a big patch anyways. And then crude oil, very big, definitely. And then terrain settings, I definitely recommend on cliffs, set to very low, and then set to none for size. Cliffs are super annoying. And it's not until a little bit later in the game that you're able to, destroy them and remove them. And you have advanced settings, which we're not going to mess with. You can just leave them as they are. So what you can do is generate a preview, right? Which gives you a preview of what you're doing. And this is kind of what you want to... Here's what you want to look for, right? Obviously, the copper is the orange. The uranium is the green. Red is enemy bases. The blue or light blue is the iron. Black is the coal. There's some coal right here. And then you have a white, which I don't really see any. Oh, there's some right there. That's stone. And you got these little green dots here. That's trees, right? And that's something to think about, is trees can be very annoying, because it takes a while to chop through them all and to make space. So, but you do want trees, because you do need wood. And then the blue patches here are obviously water. Now, this is not a good starting position. Why? Because you have your iron ores all kind of broken up in multiple patches, and it's right up against the water. It doesn't give you a lot of room to work with. And the oil's way over here. And for oil processing, you will need water, right? Now, granted, you could transport the oil closer to water or whatnot. But if I can get, an area where the oil's somewhat close to water, we're okay. So you can hit regenerate and get an idea. And wow, that's a big iron patch. But the coal patch here, you have two coal patches. I would much rather have, if this was closer, I would definitely take this one. But and the nearest oil is here and here and here and here, which is kind of spread out. So let's regenerate again. So you have to kind of look at what you want. And this here, I don't like patches that get mixed. Now, there are some mods out there, and I don't recommend playing mods until you've actually got a good grasp of the game. But there are mods that will overhaul how all the resources spawn, and it makes it so much better. I'm looking at this now, and I'm like, this is so gross as opposed to what I'm used to. But, I mean, this is not terrible. And again, your oil here is somewhat closer. There's a big oil patch there, but we'll regenerate. And I already have a map seed that I'm going to use, but I just want to give you an idea of what I'm looking for. Yeah, this one's not very good. So what I'm going to do is I actually have a map that I already saw that I kind of like. If you type in this number, 228-287-4464, and then generate preview. Gives you this map, right? Now, this map I kind of like. You got good ore, you got some oil that's close. That's enough to get you started. A lot of coal. I kind of like the Greenland, but this is kind of a, I guess, not going to be green. But you can use this seed up here if you want to follow along. And so what you do is on the first tab here, you just type in map seed and you type in that number, and then you can generate preview and you can see what it's generated here. So, and you got 2 good stone deposits here, so this is not terrible. This is definitely workable, so we'll play. So click play, and here we go. Boom, we are in the game. So the whole point of the game is to launch a rocket into space with satellites. And your character here is the engineer. So what we start off here is we've got these patches here, and you see there's dead trees here, which is very handy to, it's free wood, right? It doesn't give you much, but it's free wood. So the first thing you want to do is you start off, if you press E, brings up your inventory. Pressing E brings up your inventory, and from here, the first thing I recommend is making 2 iron picks, right here. So you have multiple tabs up here. You've got a logistics tab, which is things like your belts, your storage, how you transport stuff. Is all going to be based in this tab, transporting resources. And then you have production is how am I going to generate resources. And then you have intermediate products, which are stuff that on their own don't really have any use, but they are used for other things. So electronics do nothing by themselves, but you use the electronics for making other things. So for example, you have this inserter here, you see requires 1 electronic circuit, right? And it requires 1 gear. And you can see here, the gear and electronic circuit are here. And then you have combat, which we're not really going to mess with because we don't really have to worry about the monsters. So the first thing you want to do is under production, make 2 iron axes because you're going to need them. And you start off here with a burner, mining drill, and a stone furnace. Now what I do is I immediately set a burner on a ore patch, and you can press R to rotate it, and the little yellow arrow indicates where it's going to output. So where it's going to output the resource. Now you can see here that it's flashing that it does not have fuel, right? So you just click on it, and then it brings up an ability to add fuel to it. And so I got these 2 raw wood. Wood is a fuel that can be burned. It burns through it pretty quick. And so you can see it's now working, and it's depositing the iron here on the ground, right? So what you can do is either you can walk up to it, press, what is it? You press F, and if you hold down F and walk, you just pick up stuff landing on the ground. So you can see I just walked right by it. Watch, we'll see there, a little piece of iron ore dropped on the ground. Walk over it while holding F, and you pick it up. So, or you could do, let me grab some more wood here. I can make an iron chest or wooden chest, stick it right there, and the inserter or the driller, or well, now it's out of fuel again, but it automatically deposits the ore drills into this little box, right? So it's handy. Let's get some more wood. Now, what I like to do at this point in the game, early point in the game, is I want to go ahead and pick up this wood, or this crate. Now, I picked up the wooden crate, and it deposited all the stuff that was in the crate in my inventory. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this stone furnace, which you start off with this. I'm going to put it right in front. So what's going to happen is it's going to deposit it directly into the furnace on its own. So I'm going to put in wood. Now, here's another trick. Is when you're at the screen, if you hold down Shift, you can just press the wood and it deposits all the wood, right? You see you put all 3 there. Or if I shift and right click, it puts in half, right? I had 3, so it only put in 1, so it kind of rounds it down. So again, I could shift, right click, deposits half, shift, left click, deposits all of it into here. Or you can just drag it in there if you want. Dragging it does the same thing. It's just a quick little thing. So we have here, I'm just going to put some, now you can see here, this is growing because the drill is automatically depositing the iron ore in here. So I'm putting a piece of wood, and it automatically burned it up. So this is the piece of wood I just put in there. And this is the reserve. So it's basically saying, I have no more fuel in here. I'm burning what I have, right? So there's no more reserve here. But you can see here it's taking the iron ore, and it's burning it, or it's smelting it into iron plates. So I'm gonna put in all my iron ore. I just shift clicked, put everything that's in my inventory here into there. And so now it stopped because I ran out of fuel. So wood, terrible fuel source. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna mine some coal. And we gotta do it manually for right now, but I'm gonna show you a trick here in a little bit. And I don't need a whole lot, maybe 10. Yeah, we'll start off with 10. I'll put 5 in each. Nine, 10. All right. So I'm gonna click it. I gotta get close. Click, shift click. Whoops, I meant to actually shift right click. Shift right click to put in half here, and then I'm gonna shift click to put all of it in there. So now we've got coal. Coal takes a little bit longer to burn through than wood. Wood will burn. It'll burn through wood really quick. Coal doesn't burn through as fast, so coal's much more efficient. You need less coal than you do wood. So we've now successfully got iron producing. Now here's a little trick. Actually, there's 2 tricks here. So if you press down the Alt key, I always leave this on. It's a toggle. It shows the arrow, right? Remember when we put this down, it showed a little arrow where it was going to output the resources? It will always show that arrow now for everything I build. And it also shows what is inside objects. So in this case, you can see it's got a little iron plate here, and it means that there's iron plates to collect. I hit Alt again, you can see it turns it off. So I always leave Alt on because it gives me a really good, quick bird's eye view of what is being produced or not produced. Now, I can click on there, and I can, again, you can shift click to take it all, or you could shift right click to take half. You can see it's 2. Shift right click, and I just took 1. So there's 1 left in here, and now I have 1 more. So it works the same as if putting stuff into things and taking stuff out. Shift clicking and shift right clicking do the same exact thing if I'm putting something in or taking something out. Now, what you can also do is just hold down control, left click, and I take all the iron plates that are in there. Just boom. Right? Very handy. Especially if I have multiple burners here, I can just hold down control and just click on all of them to take it. Actually, what's nice is that I can well, I'll show you later. There's a way you can just run right by them and collect them all really fast. But that just makes it so you don't have to click into it and then drag this down, drag it down like that, or shift click or whatever. You don't have to do any of that. And you just walk up to it, hold control, left click, boom. All right, so we've got 37 iron plates. So we've got copper being made, right? And as you can see, we're getting low on... actually, I did not know this. If you hover over the fuel, it tells you what it can burn. And it can burn wooden crates. I did not know that. It's a good way to get rid of burn... Oh, and it gets rid of wooden poles. So this tells you what fuel it will accept. And it can take wooden electrical poles as wood, or as fuel. That's actually very handy. All right, because you're going to have an abundance of them later. Okay, so we can see we're actually running out of coal, and we don't have a lot more coal in here left. So I'm going to build 4 more drills right here. And actually, you can see here, it requires 3 iron plates for 1, which I have 3. 3 gear wheels, which I have enough copper for that. But it requires a stone furnace. Now, if you look at the very bottom of this little tooltip, there's a total raw. And it tells you the time. It takes 4 seconds. In total, you need in your inventory 9 pieces of iron plate and then 5 pieces of stone. As long as you have those raw components, you can build it. So basically that means I don't have to build a stone furnace first, and I don't have to build the 3 gear wheels first. I will build those automatically. I just need the raw materials in my inventory, which is just the 9 iron plates and the 5 stone. So where was the stone? The stone is, there was stone right up here to the right. You can see it here on the mini map. So here it is. Here's the stone patch. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that these patches are not forever, right? You can see on the right side has mining hardiness, mining time, and the amount. So in this one little square where it's highlighted red, right, just that little square, it has 4,255 stone, right? So these are not infinite resources. So and that forces you to expand. There are mods out there that make these infinite, and those are handy too, depending on what you want to do. So I need 20 pieces of stone because I want to create 4 drills. So I'm just going to sit here and mine this until I have 20. And then we're at 12, 13, 14, blah, blah, blah. So we got 20. So now I can build 4. And I can either, again, I can just click 4 times, or I can just shift click and it builds all of them. Right, and you can see down here it's building the gear wheels on its own. It will now build the stone furnaces on its own, and then it will build the mining drills. And so we'll wait until those have been finished building. I need something to drink because all this talking. All right. So we've got 4 drills. Now, again, remember, see that little arrow that tells you where it's going to output, and you can press R to rotate it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have these drills feed themselves. So I'm going to set one here, set one there, set one here, and set one there. So now you can see this one's going to feed in this one. This one's going to feed into this bottom one. And then the bottom one's going to feed into the bottom left one. And the bottom one feeds right back up to this one. So you're thinking, okay, that's kind of weird, because these require coal, or require fuel to mine coal. So I just need to get one. Whoops. There we go. 1 coal. Put that in there. Now, it's going to burn, it's burning that 1 piece of coal, but it's going to generate a lot of coal in just that 1 piece. And it feeds into this one. And then it fed into this one. And this one's going to, now they're fed. So they're all drilling. And the thing is that they're going to burn coal slower than they are going to drill it. So they're acting as a container. As you can see here, this is just growing, right? And so it's going to build up way more coal. It's going to build up coal faster than it burns coal. So, or it's going to collect coal faster than it burns it. So they're acting as a container. So I don't need to put a box in front of it or anything. I can walk by and just click them, and collect coal. All right. There we go. I had to be close enough. So, and what you can do is very handy, is that you can just hold down Control, click and hold down your mouse, and just mouse over them. So I've only clicked once, and I'm just waving the mouse around, and it just collects them as it grabs, as coal's getting deposited into them. So super handy. All right, so now you can see we got plenty of coal. So I'm gonna shift right click to put 25 in there, and I'm gonna shift click to put the rest in there. So now we've got a lot of coal. So it's going to keep burning quite a bit of stuff. So I need more stone, because I want to build more burners, and I need to build more furnaces. So I'm just going to do this. I'm going to collect enough stone for 1 drill, which is 5 stone, I think. All right, there we go, 5 stone. So I'm going to build 1 drill. Put it here. Then I'm going to have it. I'm just going to dump it out in a box, because I just need the raw stone. I don't need it to be processed. And then again, I'm going to run down here, and then I'm just going to hold down Control click, and then just wave my mouse around. I got some coal. 27. That's plenty. So I'll put the 27 in here. I'm used to having a mod to where I can click and interact with this from right here. I don't have to be right next to it. So when you get in a massive base, that's super handy. You don't have to run around as much. Okay, so now we're generating stone. So now we've got a supply of stone. You can see here the little box has a stone icon on it now, because again, that's part of that holding or pushing the Alt key, which shows those icons. So that means this box has stone in it. So now I have a constant supply of stone. I've got a constant supply of coal, and I've got a very small but constant supply of iron plates. And again, I'm just going to Control click. Boom. I collected 25 plates. I'm going to Control click and just hold it and wave my mouse around, and I just collected, what was that, 65 coal? Yeah, 65 coal. So now I can actually just fill these suckers up to their max. So now they're full of coal. They can only hold 50. So, and then I'm going to put the rest in here. I'm still used to being able to interact with it from so far away. All right, so now we actually are going to have 20 stones. That's perfect. I can make 4 of these burners again, or these drills again. So I'm going to do this setup here again, because this is not going to be enough coal at the beginning. So I'm going to build 4 more and do the same thing where they just kind of feed each other. So that way, and then boom, 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 and then grab that coal, and then I'm just going to put the 6 in there. It doesn't really matter. And so now we've got a good supply of coal going. All right, so now I'm needing more iron plates, because I need to make more of these things. And currently, we're not generating enough iron plates, so I need to expand. So first off, I need more stone because I need to make more drills, and I need to make furnaces too. So, all right, so 20 stone. So that means I can make. I want to make 2 burners or 2 burning drills, and then I want to make 2 stone furnaces. And while it's doing that, take another sip. Okay. Now I'm going to do pretty much the exact same setup I got here. I'm just going to, as you see right now, there's not a whole lot of automation. At the beginning of the game here, automation is not something that you are going to really strive for, right? All right, so I'm going to right click. So I can also do that from here. I can grab the coal out of my inventory, right? Shift right click and it just puts in the 25. You see there, minus, I gotta get closer, minus 25 coal, and then minus 25 coal. So it puts half of that 50 stack in there. So there we go. We've got more iron going. And I'm gonna need way more iron, so I'm probably gonna need more coal too, actually. I don't think this is gonna be enough for what I need. Okay. So the next thing is copper. Now I don't need a ton of copper, which I'm gonna need iron plates and stone. So I'm gonna control click, and I'm gonna hold control and hold click and just run across. And you can see I just grabbed all those plates. As the mouse moved over, it grabbed all the iron. All right, so we need more stone. All right. So this gives me enough. I can make 4. You know what? I'm only going to do 2 of each for the coal. So I built 2 drills and 2 furnaces for this copper, not coal, because copper you don't have a huge need for it this early on. So we need to get. Wait, I've got enough coal on me here. All right, boom, 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 boom. Whoops! I accidentally shift click, so that's my bad. So it gave it all the coal. So I'm gonna just do shift right click. Or control right clicks, my bad. Alright. Alright, so now we got copper being built. Alright, so what's our next step? At this point, our next step is kind of, it's a little bit more of expansion. And since I've played this game so much, I know kind of early game, like, how much I'm actually going to need. And I'm going to need more. I'm going to set up 2 more iron. I'm probably going to need even more than that. And I probably should set up an extra stone, but I think we're fine for now. Whoops. And by the way, if you put something down, you can just right-click on it and you pick it up. Alright. And coal. Oh, I got plenty of coal, so I'm going to just do control, right-click. Oh, I got to get closer. Control, right-click, just put it in half. I only do that because right now I don't have a ton of coal. Eventually, I'll just be dumping all my coal into these things. But alright, so we got our copper here. We've got coal. We've got stone, which I want to make. I'll make 1 more stone. And here's what I'm going to do, actually. Just for efficiency's sake. Alright, so I'm going to take this, put that there, and then this there. Actually, nope. You'll see what I'm doing here in a second. I want these arrows to line up, but I want a gap in between them, and so I can just put a box there. And I'm just going to dump all 50 into each one, so that way they run for a while and I don't have to worry about it. Okay. So, we got a pretty good start here. The next thing we want is power, because now we want to start automating. And to automate, we need to research. Because I'm tired of taking coal from here and transporting it here, here, and here. I need something to do this for me. Right? Instead of me manually running around. So we're going to build power. And I'm going to build power. So this is copper. I'm going to build it right here. Maybe I should go up this way. I'm just trying to think of future expansion. What I want it to look like. All All right, well, what we're going to do is we're going to build steam engines, right? And we need offshore pumps, which we need copper for that. You can see here, offshore pump requires 3 copper and 5 iron plates. I've got the iron plates, and I'm actually missing just 1 copper, but I'm going to grab whatever's in here. So now I got quite a bit of copper. All right, so I'm just going to build 1. You just need 1. One of these will give you enough water for quite a bit of power. And then I'm going to right now, if you remember I said you could shift click and it builds everything. You can also just right click and it builds 5. It'll just queue up 5. And then I'm going to need wood too at some point. So here's what we're going to do. So I'm going to clear this out because these are in the way, these rocks. They give me stone. Sometimes they give you coal too, which is nice. But I don't think these are going to give me any coal. Boom, 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 boom. Alright, I think that's it. And we'll get this little bit of wood. I'm going to need way more wood, but for right now. Alright, so we're going to set this offshore pump. When I click it and go to place it down, it shows these green areas, which is where I can put it. Alright, so I'm going to put it right here. Whoops, I got to get closer. Put it right there. And then I'm going to build 2 of these. And then I'm going to build again. I'm going to build 10 of those. So I just right click twice. These are pipes. This is going to carry this water into the steam engines, or the boilers. So, and here's our boilers. Now, with how this game works, I'm going to need more copper. So how boilers work is that you have to have a boiler which produces steam, right? And the steam itself does nothing, but that steam has to go into a steam engine. And you can see here we got steam engines and we got boilers. Every boiler can support 2 steam engines. It produces enough steam for 2 steam engines. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take, so we have 2 pipes here. We got just a regular pipe, right, which runs across the ground. You can see here it's like that, right? So, and I'll take those. So they're above ground. Now you have underground pipes. So they're curved. You can see this. I'm rotating them, which direction I want to go. So as you can see in this offshore pump, it has this blue arrow. That means it's outputting water in this direction, right? It's going to put it out that way. So I'll put a pipe here. And you can see, since I've got the Alt button, I've pressed the Alt button, it shows that, yes, there's water being generated into this pipe. And then from this pipe, you can see that there's an outline. This is how far the pipe will go. When the outline disappears, it's too long. So there's only a maximum length. This is the maximum length right here. So this puts pipes underground. Now, what's great about that? Well, one, I can move through it. Whereas regular pipes, I can't move through them, right? So underground pipes are great because it still keeps it to where I can run around. So, and I actually don't need this that far out. So I just need enough to have some space between the two just so I can walk through. That's fine. And then you have boilers here. So I need, a good startup is 5 boilers. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 10 steam engines. So I'm gonna, now for these boilers, you can see here, there is, again, these also have arrows. Now you can see at the bottom right and the bottom left, and you can also see on the right over here, right here. Actually, I'll use this. So you have this diagram here. So what happens is that it could take water from the left or from the right, okay? But it has double arrows, meaning it also feeds water. So this acts like a pipe, right? So it produces steam, but any excess water will continue through. So that means I can hook up 2 boilers right next to each other. So I'm going to connect this boiler to this pipe. So now it's getting water. So I can look at this boiler, and you can see on the right, it says water. See that line at the very, very bottom? It tells you the temperature, the efficiency, how much energy it consumes, blah, blah, blah. And it can hold 200 units of water. And the bar at the bottom shows that it is completely full of water. So I can also take another one, and again, it acts like a pipe. You can see here, it's now full of water, right? So not only does it act like a pipe, but it produces steam. And that's what this here is, this top section right here is saying that it outputs steam. You can see the little steam icon, and it puts steam out. So I'm going to take, and again, these act like pipes. These are the steam engines, and they act like pipes. So you could see that it has the both arrows going both ways, and you can see it's kind of hard to see in this outline here. But let me put it down. So you can see here it does steam, and in any excess steam it pushes upward out this end. So it can take in steam and output steam. Basically, it takes in steam from either side, and it can output from either side. So I'm going to lay down 5 steam engines there. And then, this little trick is that I'm going to put a steam engine here, and then I'm going to put a steam engine here, but I'm going to raise it up one. Right? And you'll see why in a second. And then the next one's going to be down. Next one's up. Next one's down. So you have this little gap here. And this is why, well, I had built those other pipes. Let me build some pipes. These above ground pipes, I'm going to put it where the ones that I moved up, I'm going to put a little pipe. I got to be closer. Put a pipe there. Put a pipe there. So now this pipe is carrying steam, right? So the steam is being transferred on these right here. The steam is being transferred directly from this steam engine to this steam engine. This one here, since there was a gap, there was no way for it to transfer. So I put a pipe in here, and this pipe will transfer the steam to the next one. And the reason why I did this was for the power poles. So what I need now is I need wood. I need wood desperately because I need to make power poles. Bum, 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 bum. There's dead trees everywhere, but there's some live trees way to the right here. That's not too far. I'll take that walk. One bad thing is that wood is the only resource that you have to manually collect. There's no automated way for collecting wood. Now, there are some mods that will add like lumber mills and stuff, but I don't know, they seem kind of wonky to me. So I'm getting twice the amount of wood from these as opposed to the dead wood that's laying around everywhere. And the dead wood probably would have been enough, but... Alright, so... that should be enough. 42. And I've got some copper, so I want to make some electrical poles. Now you can see here it says 2x small electrical pole on the tooltip there. That means clicking it once will make 2. So I right click to make 5. And so it made double that, so it made 10 because it's basically 2 times 5, it's 10. So, and I did that twice, so it made 20 poles. So if you have, so we have power here. Now what I'm going to do also real quick, let's collect some coal. And we'll show you how power, there's a little quirk to the power here. Okay, so these boilers have to have power before they can start producing steam. Alright, so now you can see here, at the bottom right in the tooltip, it shows that it's producing steam. But the thing is that these aren't really generating steam. I mean, they're full of steam, they have steam, but they're not really doing anything with it. The steam's just kind of sitting there. So you have to have something that, you know, connects it to a grid. So the reason why I did the thing where I put, you know, one down here and then I moved this one up, so I have a gap, so I can put in power. Now you can see in these power poles there's an outline. Anything that's within that outline will receive power. And the little handy thing is that when you put it here, you see how the four boilers here have like a little blue outline on them? That means they're all going to get power. So that's a quick reference to tell you, yep, they're going to get power. And so put one here, and I have to put it here because these power poles don't have a long reach. You can see the line disconnects, right? And that means that it's too far away. So I have to put it here. Why is it not? Oh, I gotta be closer. So you put it here, and then one here. So these last two will get power. So now they're connected to power. The little flashing icon away. So now we are ready to go. We have power generation. So the next step is to create a science lab. So this is the key. You got to have science. You got to start off with science if you want to start automation. So I'm going to collect more coal because I need more iron, and then I'm going to just fill these up. You just control left click, and it'll just dump coal all into them. Although I didn't get any in that one there, so let's grab some more coal and. I gotta get closer. I'm so used to having that mod. Alright, so now we're filled up again here, and so just gonna run. Whoops. Control left click, and it just collects everything for me. All right, so now I got a ton of iron. So I'm gonna build one science lab for right now. And these take a lot of resources. You can see here it takes gear wheels, it takes copper wire, it takes electrical circuits, more gear wheels, some transport belts. So it has to build all those things first before it builds the lab. And the lab requires power. And then I'll show you, once I have a lab, what we do with it. And then once I do that, I'll cut this video short because it's running kind of long already. All right, so I'm going to set the lab within the blue outline of these power poles because it will only get power if it's within that blue outline. So I'm going to set it right there. And you can see, whoops, you can see on the tip here, or on the tool tip on the right, although I don't know why, I guess they started adding names. This lab's called Yohono Fretro. You can see there's an electricity bar. And that tells you that it's full of electricity. You always want that bar to be full green. If it's not full green, it works. That means there's not enough power being generated, and it's working at less efficiency. And that's the same thing with these, which I'll show you. At the bottom right, you can see a performance and available performance. As these start outputting power to things that require power, that performance bar will start jumping. And you always want that performance bar to be below the available performance. So if your available performance is operating at, or you always want available performance to be near max, because once available performance gets lower, that means you're not working at a full efficiency. That means that you're not generating enough power. You need more power, essentially. So I'm going to cut this video here. I'm going to do a part 2. We're going to talk about science.